Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the yet another retrospective series. Those of you who are following along, or read the title, I guess, know that we are on World at War's Numa. Now, if you watched and paid attention in the last video, you may have heard me say that Numa is my favorite World at War map. I love it. I am a Numa enthusiast. So it was to my dismay that I learned while researching for this video that I'm pretty alone on this take, actually. Like I said, before I write the script for each video, I do research by watching other YouTubers' old retrospective videos to make sure that I don't say the same stuff that they did 6 years ago. This may seem like a non-issue, but it really is easy to do, especially on these World at War maps, because there's not all that much to say. I mean, I probably deleted and rewrote like a quarter of the script for my Knocked video just because I had like multiple sentences that were almost word for word what Tim Hansen said in his video on Knocked. Shout out Tim, by the way, he's my GOAT. If he needs a shout out from a YouTuber with 40 subscribers, there you go. Anyway, when I was looking back at the Smith Plays Numa video, I was appalled to hear some of these takes. And this is no hate to the Smith Plays, he is a founding father of Zombies YouTube, but he had some stinker-ass takes in that video. Anyway, sit back, get a drink or a snack, and we're going to talk about everything Numa has to offer. But before we get into that, I just have two quick things I want to get out of the way. The first is to say thank you, really. You simply clicking on this video will make my day like you don't even know. Every time I see that view counter increase by even just one view, I get so happy. And if you get any enjoyment from this and want to leave a like, that would be freaking awesome sauce. Thank you, but anyways, the main thing I wanted to say was if you've been following my other two videos in this series, then you probably noticed that the script is very structured and organized. But there is a lot to talk about in this Numa video, and it doesn't really flow together in that like super well structured fashion. So if this one seems kind of ranty and I like ping pong between points, I'm sorry, it is a organized chaos, I promise. Anyway, that is all the pregame stuff out of the way, so let's actually look at the map. On June 11th, 2009, Numa drops with World at War's Map Pack 2. And by this point, Zombies is really picking up traction. It's hard to find a clear statement of public opinion from this time, but just from what I remember personally, this map was actually pretty well received. Numa brought us plenty to sink our teeth into. I would say the biggest addition would have to be the creation of our crew of main characters. That being Tank Dempsey, the rough and tough American Marine, Nikolai Belinsky, the stereotypical alcoholic vodka-loving commie, Takeo Masaki, the honor-bound Japanese soldier, and Edward Richtofen, the crazy, evil German scientist. All of these characters are insanely likable. They are incredibly memorable, being in big part that they all are stereotypes, but in the best way. You don't really forget one or confuse one with the other. A problem that other Zombies crews have. I'm looking at you, Marlton and Stuhlinger. Fucking dorks. This really is the best crew we could ask for. Treyarch hit it out of the park with these guys. With Numa also came the Hellhounds, which obviously became a mainstay, being used to offer a different challenge to break up the monotony of endlessly passing rounds, and rewarding you for surviving with a max ammo. Numa didn't bring us any new perks, however it did introduce the concept of random perk spawns, as well as the first real wonder weapon in the Wunderwaffe DG2. No hate to the ray gun, but at the same time, let's be real here. The Wunderwaffe is the first time we have ever felt truly powerful. And finally, the best addition Numa brought us is training. Yes, for those who didn't know, Numa was the first map to give us any real open area, giving birth to the strat of training. With all that being said, there really is a strong argument for Numa being the most innovative map of all time, a title that usually gets argued to belong to Verrucht for bringing us power, or Darice for bringing us Pack-a-Punch. Man, if there's one thing you can't say about Numa, it's that it didn't innovate. What's that? The Smith Place said that Numa didn't innovate. Well, that's not even close to being true, but we're gonna move on. I'm sure that thing that just happened won't happen again. As I said earlier, Numa is the first map to give us any real space. However, looking at the design of the map, you can see that they were still able to keep the map simple and straightforward while making it bigger. Numa starts you off in this central shack. It's 2 stories, and once you make your way downstairs, you are met with 2 box locations. There are 4 different ways to leave the main hut, each bringing you to a different, smaller building containing a random perk machine. One of these paths out contain this map's new trap, the Flogger. This trap, paired with the open space next to it, makes for the first and one of the most iconic training spots. Up there with the stage on Kino or next to PhD on Ascension. Verrucht brought innovation to the game's features, but Numa brings innovation to the gameplay loop itself, being the first map that really differentiates from your only choice being camping. Numa is also the first and honestly only World at War map to visually differentiate itself. All the other World at War maps fall into the same category of old, abandoned, dark gray buildings somewhere in Germany, where Numa, on the other hand, is visually distinct, only having 1 or 2 maps in all of Zombies that really look like it. And it's still a pretty map to this day. The different areas look similar, sure, but they still do have something to differentiate the different parts of the map at least a little bit. And things like the glowing rock of 115 off map do a good job of keeping this visually pretty map from looking the exact same everywhere with no deviation. I would say it definitely still does fall into this. There's not too much change from area to area, but it does a much better job than all the other World at War maps, to say the least. Man, if there's one thing you can't say about Numa, it's that it's not a gorgeous and visually interesting map.
The entire map just feels like one giant bland patch of jungle with zero contrast to make it interesting. Even Verrucht has the power room to provide a bit of contrast.
I have no comments. Like the other maps, Numa also includes some Easter eggs. We aren't yet to the point of big story Easter eggs with boss fights and shit, but there's some music Easter eggs and radios to give insight onto the story. The biggest sort of Easter egg is the body of Peter McCain hanging from the roof of Spawn, that for whatever reason will insta-kill you if you touch him, even in God mode. And finally, we can't talk about Numa without talking about high rounds, as I would also call Numa the birthplace of high rounds as well. By the way, this is kinda off script, but I'm probably going to briefly mention the high round world record for every map. I'm sure you already know this, but we might as well go over it for those who don't. World at War Zombies has a limit on how many zombies will spawn per round, that being 24 zombies. You hit this cap where no more zombies will spawn than 24 at about round 20. Past that, the only thing making the game harder is the health of these zombies increasing. But if you'd recall, we have the Wunderwaffe on this map, which does infinite damage. So, in conclusion, on Numa, we basically have an infinite round 20, as the number of zombies per round won't increase, and the health is a non-issue. Pair that with the Flogger trap next to the training spot, and the dog rounds that keep your ammo filled, and you have an incredibly easy high round on your hands. As is the case with most high rounds we're going to talk about in future vids in this series, the main issue isn't surviving. It's passing the rounds as quick as you can to get to the biggest round possible before the reset. The reset is the point where the game's entity counter gets too high and the map resets to round 1. The current world record was just recently beaten at the start of June by Unique, who made it to an insane round 12,690 after almost 106 hours of gameplay. A lot of people say Numa is too easy, and this is one of the only complaints about Numa I can understand. But at the same time, I think it's good to have a zombies map on at least one of the games you can just mindlessly pass rounds on. And that's pretty much why you play Numa in the first place, so even though the too easy complaint is valid, who is playing Numa for a challenge? In conclusion, World at War Numa is a great map that oozes with personality. Maybe it's my Numa bias talking, but I think this map is incredibly overhated, and in my humble but also completely correct opinion that you aren't allowed to argue, I think Numa is World at War's best map. But in all seriousness, tell me what you think in the comments. Is the Smith plays right? Is Numa a boring, bland map that didn't bring anything to the table other than all the stuff it brought to the table? Do you agree with me about all the Numa glaze in this video? I love reading and responding to comments. I really am interested to hear what you all think, so please tell me below. Anyway, I said it at the start, but I'm going to say it again. Thank you so much for watching. I do actually put a lot of effort into these videos. I make them for the enjoyment, but at the same time, it's so cool that people actually watch these. Anyway, I'm going to do everything in my power to have the next vid in the series, that being Doris, out by next Friday or Saturday, and that's it. Okay, love you, bye!